Welcome to a very special episode of The Hobby Never Sleeps. It says it on the wall, so it's official. And we are here getting ready for the NBA season to kick off. So what better person to bring here to Rochester, New York in all its glory, the one and only Amin Elhassan. Amin, we got mugs. We're official
I
here.
know. We got logos on it, too.
The logos and everything. Yeah. I mean, not to age you at all, but you've covered the NBA for over 2 decades.
I haven't covered the NBA for 2 decades.
Been in the league,
been around,
associated.
Yeah, but for over 2 decades, though. It has been closing in on 3.
Woo,
That's a long time, yeah. But yeah.
So, considering that you are one that knows the league more than most, and as we're getting ready for it, just want to get an idea, because you work for the Hawks, the Suns, and the Knicks.
Yeah.
What is something a fan, an NBA fan, doesn't realize that they're completely wrong about when it comes to working in the front office or for a team?
Oh, yeah. So
I flipped that question.
I think people think it's like fantasy basketball, and you're just like constantly trying to do trades and stuff, and that's not really what it is. A lot of it is just gathering information for stuff that'll never get used or never get done. And so I got a great example. When I worked for the Suns, I came across this forgotten drawer of VHS tapes. And it was all basketball, but among these tapes was, this is Leandro Barbosa playing in a Brazilian second division league when he was 16 years old. Amari Stoudemire playing in high school in Florida and stuff. And so I was like, this is amazing. And I remember one of the new people who came in was like, why do we keep this junk? I said, because the next time someone says that this guy reminds me of a young so-and-so, I said, no, I'll show you what a young so-and-so looked like. I have the tape. Because memory is a very fickle thing. And so if you're not recording, basically, when I mean recording not just video, but also notes and all that of the moment, you can't trust your memory to say, oh, I know how I felt the first time I saw so-and-so. No, you don't, because this is what it looked like. And this is what you wrote at the time. I had Dan Marley's scouting report, from when he was in college. Cotton Fitzsimmons' handwritten scouting report for Dan Marley. And so a lot of the job is, especially for people like me, not the GM.
Yeah.
It's information gathering, it's information vetting, it's curating, in essence, this massive information database that will then get referenced to in the future, and you never know when.
What was Dan Marley's scouting report?
I don't remember, but I had it. It's like an athlete, and I'm like, what? That guy is back.
I know this for a fact because I work for the Rams. Certain teams have certain ways of scouting, and they look for certain things. There's also characteristics that work well on the court and off the court. Would love some of the funny nuances that are like, this is a Suns thing, this is a Knicks thing. Then maybe you can or can't share.
Yeah. There's terms that I don't believe are, and they were never meant in a negative way, but they're terms that now are not acceptable at all.
Sure.
But that was how you described certain players, right? And I think the big thing is, for us, it was more about knowing what kind of player we had. There's no right or wrong answers, right? So for instance, give a great example. Is he a guy that learns by, you can tell him, or do I have to draw it up for him, or do I have to show him on video, or do I have to literally grab him and say, then you go here, then you do this, right? None of those, it didn't matter how you learned. It's not oh, this guy, he's a physical learner. I don't want any of those. It just was important to know, because now we know how to coach you. Now we know how to use you.
Yeah.
So we're not drawing stuff up and you're I can't conceptualize or visualize off of a whiteboard. So it was a lot of that stuff. Not necessarily what we want. It's no secret. We wanted guys who were skilled, who could shoot.
Sure.
And who could play without the ball, because Steve Nash at the time was our point guard and he had the ball in his hands. So if you were a very ball-dominant player, that probably wasn't as appealing to us, because we're you're not going to have the ball in your hands. You got to be able to know how to move into space or whatever. alternately, like there would be things that guys had not exhibited, but we knew. Like, so for instance, a great example is Channing Frye. Channing Frye hit more threes, I want to say in the first 2 weeks as a Phoenix Sun, than he had his entire 4-year NBA career prior to that. But we knew, like we'd scouted Channing, we knew he's got a playing style that would fit perfectly with our team. Yeah. And sure enough, he did. So a lot of times it's trying to recognize skill sets or attributes that may not even be fully developed in the moment, but it's like, oh, I can see a little bit of tweaking or something like that. We can get them there.
So you're the reason why Channing got a ring?
No.
Because then you got him to the Cavs.
No, I didn't get him. Like, I was long gone by then. Channing, it's funny. Channing had a heart condition.
Yeah.
He went through a whole schedule, which now I forget all the time.
I'm sure he does too.
But yeah, like Channing went through some crazy like health scare earlier in his career. But no, my favorite Channing story was, so I picked up Channing twice. One time before he signed the deal, right? Like to come in to sign the contract. Yeah. And then the second time he flew in to do the press conference. The time he signed him to the deal, I borrowed our assistant GM's car to pick him up from the airport. His name's David Griffin. So Griff's car was an X5.
Maybe that's how he got to.
So it was an X5, right? So it was like a real nice car. Nice. Hey, Channing, welcome back to Phoenix. He's from Phoenix, so it was like, oh, we're excited to have you. Then he goes, he signs the contract, then he flies. I think he had some sort of family thing. And so we'll just do the press conference like next weekend or whatever. So he flies back to do the press conference. Now he's signed.
Right.
Ink is dry. Like, when ain't no reneging on this. I showed up in the car that they actually let me drive, the company car. Sure. It's an all-white van. No, it's literally it's the abductor van, basically.
Sure.
And
you're driving it.
I pull up and I'm like, all right, Johnny, it's like, what in the AAU van is this? And I'm like, hey, buddy, welcome to Phoenix. Like, before we were trying to put a good image and stuff. Now you sign, man. You're here for at least 2 years.
That's wild.
We got you.
That's it. What could be David Griffin too that helped him get to?
Yeah, no,
like, that's probably the more of the connecting.
Yeah,
no, that for
sure.
Street cred. Yeah. It's funny because so at the Rams are working with a league. It's hard to see. You probably see this. Like in the NFL, if you have the wrong coaching staff, your quarterback could completely flop. And in the hobby, hobbyists look to chase rookies. They look to chase got players that can pop off.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's frustrating to hear this and go, they didn't have the right setup. There's hope for them once they have the right coaching staff. I know more about this for the NFL, but curious, what are the things that need to be in place that you also look at when it comes to a rookie? And look, Cooper Flagg right now, everyone's staring at the Mavs, but having certain pieces set up.
So I'm a big believer. We're talking about rookies, right?
Yeah, let's focus on the rookies.
When you're talking about a rookie, everything is hard.
Yeah.
Right? Number one, this is the first time you're around everyone else who's just as athletic as you are, right? For most guys, college or wherever, they were the most athletic guy or the best player, right? There might be one guy you see in one game, like, oh, he's pretty good too. But night in, night out, you are head and shoulders above your competition. Of course, that was what it was in high school and AAU or whatever, or in the junior leagues in Europe, right? You get to the NBA, everyone's big, everyone's fast, everyone's can shoot, everyone is skilled, and all of a sudden, you are not the big fish. You are one of many fish in this massive ocean.
Yep. So
there's a culture shock from that standpoint. There's a standpoint of the culture shock of I'm a professional for the first time, right? And part of that is a lot of people go through this when you leave home, right? You leave home, you go to college, first time, there's no one to tell you to wake up. There's no one to tell you it's time to eat. There's no one to tell you, you are in charge of your own schedule, right? Well, college athletes don't experience that, right? Because there is someone to tell them to wake up. There is a curfew. There is all these rules, and like you're still living at home. Mm-hmm. But then you get to the NBA, you a grown up.
Right.
I'm not
an 18 or 19-year-old.
At 19 or 20,
right.
I'm not knocking on your hotel room door like, Serena, have you gone to bed? We have a big game tomorrow. If you want to go out the night before a game and go out and go crazy and show up at 4 a.m. back in your room stumbling, you can do that. No one's here to stop you.
Yeah.
But obviously, your decisions have ramifications, right? So you're learning how to be an adult, a single independent grown-up. You're learning terminology. You're learning plays. You're learning player tendencies because you've never played against this guy. You don't know that he likes to do this little thing. So you're learning all this stuff. Oh, and by the way, everyone's great. It's a very overwhelming thing. So it's a long build up to the answer. When you're a rookie and you go to a situation where it's not, hey, man, go do whatever you want on the court, that can be hard. Cooper Flagg is going to a team that thinks it can win an NBA championship right now, right? That's a big deal. Even someone like Dylan Harper, the Spurs aren't going to win a championship, but they are. This is the first year where they're like, we're serious now.
Yeah.
We're done messing around and letting people figure things out. We're trying to win games now. We're trying to take that evolutionary step. So Dylan Harper and Cooper Flagg and VJ Edgecombe and these guys are like, oh, I've got to do things right. And if I make a mistake, my coach will be like, sit down, because it's not even a teaching tool. It's like, I can't afford to have someone make mistakes out there.
Yeah.
We're trying to win. Our margins are very small. Versus someone like Ace Bailey in Utah, we're going to win 18 games. Nobody cares, dude. Go out there and find out what you can and can't do on a basketball court. There's a lot more nurturing an environment for exploration of self and like what works, what doesn't work, and all those things, versus someone who plays for a team that's really good and doesn't have that margin of error.
So you almost think if you're a rookie, you don't want to be on a win or bust, right?
Well, there's two sides to that coin. Because the other side of the coin is like, I get to, first of all, that means I'm playing with great players.
Sure, yeah, right? Which you're going to learn, we would hope.
So Cooper Flagg gets to say, well, wow, Anthony Davis is right there, and Kyrie Irving is right there, and my coach is Jason Kidd, who was a great player and a great coach. So I get to learn from these guys and ask questions, and I get to learn winning basketball, doing things the right way. Whereas a guy in a bad situation, there's a lot of times no one's there to give any guidance other than the coach, and even then the coach is like, whatever, we have our marching orders to do this, that, or the third. So I think there's a positive to being in a win-now situation.
Okay.
But ultimately, I want to know that I have the ability to learn and to make mistakes and learn through the mistakes, because without that leeway, it becomes very hard to be mistake-free from the get-go.
That makes sense. So there's also the thought when it comes to people who are buying cards in the hobby of, I'm trying to get a guy that might pop off later or was underappreciated. Would love to know an underappreciated mind in the NBA that you've come across in your, either might still have an opportunity to pop off, or just someone that's like, I'm just going to go find that guy's card because you've convinced me.
So we talked about this before, and the example you gave was Reed Shepherd. And the reason why is because starting point guard for the Houston Rockets, Fred VanVleet, tears his ACL. He's going to be out for the year. So Reed Shepherd, who was the backup and really didn't play a whole lot last year, now has a bunch of opportunity to play. I don't think he'll start. I think Amin Thompson will start at point guard now. But Reed Shepherd has an opportunity to get those minutes. And then further kind of helping him, the way the Rockets' salary cap situation is, they literally cannot sign someone off the waiver wire or something.
They're locked in
until like January, like after the new year.
Okay.
Right. So he's got a couple of months to basically earn this. He's competing against Aaron Holiday, Drew Holiday's little brother, for that spot. And you asked me to think of other examples, so I came up with two.
Okay.
One is maybe a name you would have known, but maybe forgot because he hasn't played a whole lot recently and he landed somewhere. The other one is a name you know, but you wouldn't have thought of because, oh, yeah, I didn't realize the situation would be that advantageous for him. So the first name is Brandon Ingram, who got traded from the Pelicans to the Raptors last year and was hurt recently the last couple of years. So he didn't play a whole lot. But apparently he's healthy now. And so he's going to be on a Toronto team that really isn't like offensively put together, so to speak, right? He's got an opportunity there as a great offensive talent to go score for them and be their leading scorer and really kind of remind people, oh, yeah, he's pretty good. I remember he was an all-star a couple of years ago in New Orleans, and they were kind of on the come-up. He's got an opportunity now. Toronto's an up-and-coming team with Scotty Barnes and Grady Dick and the rest of those guys. So he's got he's got a chance here to do something big. The other name is Norman Powell, who got traded from the Clippers to the Miami Heat. And this is really important because Norman Powell had the best year of his career last year with the Clippers. Didn't get All-Star nod, though, which was a lot of people, myself included, I thought he should have been an All-Star. But I talked to him, I interviewed him about what's that like, and it's like, is it like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened? Or did you always know I had this in me, but I just haven't had the opportunity? Because Norman Powell played in Toronto. He won a championship there.
Mm-hmm.
He played in Portland, but in Toronto, he was a backup, like an 8th or 9th man. In Portland, he was a backup behind Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. And even with the Clippers, he was kind of like a backup for most of that.
Yeah.
So he really hadn't had the opportunity to break out. And he's like, yeah, there's definitely growth. I've changed, but he said at some level you always know just all I need is my opportunity, and when I get it, I'll show. Well, now he's going to be playing for Miami, and this is a team where, A, they are an offensively starved team. They've been bad offensively. They just can't really create offense easily. Norman Powell steps in, and he's able to do that. B, Tyler Hero, their other lead guard, is hurt to start the year. So now Norman Powell has, again, opportunity because they need his talents, but also opportunity because he doesn't have to worry about sharing a backcourt with someone else. So I think Norman Powell is going to have a really strong year for the Miami Heat and maybe see him as an all-star this year for the first time in his career.
I like that. Those are good. Those are good too. I would be remiss if I did not ask you, and you can beef up the story and give some background, but what is the ultimate outcome of the Clippers and Kawhi?
Oof. Okay, so for those that don't know, right, I work on a show called Pablo Torre Finds Out with Pablo Torre, and we uncovered the story, and we've been deep diving it. Literally every other news outlet that talks about this.
This was like the biggest news.
This is the biggest news
month.
Perhaps
For the year.
For the year, or like going back, Luka Doncic trade would probably be number one. But number two is this story, which is that the Clippers have allegedly paid Kawhi Leonard under the table, off the books, through a third party. And we uncovered it. We're uncovering all the added details, and it's been kind of wild because this isn't a case where everyone is kind of reporting bits and pieces of the story. We're reporting the story, and everyone else is kind of like feeding off of our trails. So the allegation is that, as I said, Kawhi Leonard is getting paid off the books by this company called Aspiration, which was a corporate partner of the Clippers, actually the biggest corporate partnership for a non-naming rights deal in the NBA, in NBA history. So we uncovered the contracts and the documents. We got testimony from 8 employees, former employees of Aspiration, who all said that this is the case. The collective bargaining agreement has a very specific section, an article called Article 13. It's about cap circumvention, right? And it's like whoever wrote it, it's like they knew this thing was coming, right? It's not just, hey, if we catch you paying somebody off the books, you're in trouble. It even includes the language of a third-party business partner or sponsor paying compensation in excess of fair market value of the services rendered by the player, right? Fair compensation in excess of fair market value of the services rendered. That sentence right there is going to be the thing that undoes the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard, because Kawhi Leonard got paid $28 million in cash, $22 million in stock options, right? So $50 million in compensation for an endorsement deal in which the only thing he had to do was either like a tweet or retweet. He didn't have to make a post. He could have just done that, unless it is in conflict with his beliefs, is what it says in the contract. Now, this is a
lawyer that put that together.
That's a normal clause because,
Sure.
for instance, if I got an endorsement deal with McDonald's, right, I would have that clause in there, but there would be a separate section called beliefs that would say what exactly are the beliefs that conflict for Amin. So, for instance, I don't eat pork, so you can't have me do a McRib commercial.
Sure.
Okay, boom, that's there. But like McChicken is cool, yeah. Big Mac is cool. All right, cool. and then I'd do those other things. Kawhi Leonard's contract said, unless it is in conflict of his beliefs, there's no section that demonstrates what his beliefs are. Meaning, he could say anything is against his beliefs. It's against my beliefs to like a tweet. It's against my beliefs to retweet, right? So he did no work.
Okay.
He never appeared in a commercial. He never took a picture. He never posted. He never retweeted. He never liked. They never even announced the deal with him, by the way. At the same time, he was their highest paid endorser of all the people they endorsed. Now, I know what you're thinking at home. Oh, I mean, like, they probably got a bunch of nobodies. He was clearly the most famous guy they had. Let's see. Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert Downey Jr., Cindy Crawford, Drake. These were people who were endorsers of this company.
And they're pissed.
They all got paid.
Yeah.
They all did stuff. You know what they got paid? Less than what Kawhi Leonard got. All combined, they made less than what Kawhi Leonard made on his own. So when we say the line, compensation in excess of fair market value of services rendered, this is a textbook definition. That's the line. That's what was happening here, allegedly. What's going to happen?
Yeah, what's the ultimate outcome that you see?
I think Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers, is going to get suspended for a year.
Okay.
I think they're going to fine him the maximum allowable fine. I think Lawrence Frank, the president of basketball operations, will be suspended for a year. And I think there will be a fine for Kawhi Leonard, but it's like, I think it's like $350,000 is what the collective bargaining agreement says. And there will be some picks held back, some first-round picks.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to go full 5, which is the one precedent we have in NBA history was Minnesota in 2000. They got 5 first-round picks taken away from them. I don't think it'll go that far, probably 2.
Okay.
Because he was already paid a max deal on the books. So it wasn't like, hey, we signed him for $10 and then we were paying him off the books to make up for that. He was being compensated on the books very handsomely. This was just extra money. So yeah, I think that's what we're looking at here.
Okay. It's funny because obviously you and Pablo did a great job at getting the story out. I am curious because what's probably not talked about is all the work that you guys did leading up.
Pablo investigated 7 months. 7 months of an investigation. And that's why I think some people have a problem or don't understand.
Yeah.
Because we live in an age where news for most people is, I heard something over here, and then I report it.
Yeah.
And I don't have any more insight than what was told to me. And that's not what Pablo did. Like, Pablo and his team did an incredible job finding sources, vetting sources, getting people to talk on the record, right? Getting documents, court documents, the bankruptcy filings of the company Aspiration, the contract that Kawhi Leonard's deal was in, right? All of these things. And then
finding out what Leo and the rest of them made,
finding what everyone made,
Yeah.
like all that stuff. And finding examples of, this is the Rolling Stone interview that Drake did where he's talking about this company, right? Where he's bigging up this company. This is the ad that Robert Downey Jr. not only starred in, but also did the voiceover narration for, right? All those things, they had to be collected and found and unearthed, right? And Pablo and his team did that. And then myself and David Sampson, the other 2 people, were there to kind of give context and all those things. So when I talk about Article 13 is because I've read the collective bargaining agreement. So I know there's a section on it. Now, did I know this section as well as I do now? No, I didn't. Like, I knew kind of what was in there, but now I know the exact details and I can, point to Section 2B and all that stuff. And that's kind of where it all comes together because Pablo's an investigative journalist. I'm a basketball expert. David Sampson is a former president of a Major League Baseball team, and so he's worked high level, and this is one of the most high level kind of conversations you can have when it's between owner and player and corporate partner, and that's a place where David Sampson has operated. And so we all kind of bring our own skills and abilities to the table to help make it digestible for the viewers.
No, it's wild. And I only say that because I think for people who just love cards and they want to collect, and a story comes out and affects the card market of a Kawhi or whatever, and you're like, oh my God. But there's so much time that it takes
Yeah.
to get through that story.
Yeah.
7 months where you're like, I'm working on it.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. I mean, but it's worth it, right? You get to like the fruit of that labor is nobody has this. This is like pulling a 101 card.
Yes.
Right? Like we're the ones. Now there might be other people who have the base card version of it, the duplicates, right?
Right.
Like that's cool, but we've got the one that's like this is the one that you put in the case and you put on auction at Sotheby's or something like that, and you make a whole lot of cash on, and it's pretty incredible. It's just, it's what Pablo has done, and I'll say this for his whole show, not just for this one story, but he's proven that there's more to sports than who got traded, who's getting drafted next, and who's signing who. Right? There's more to news than that. Sports news is not just transactions. There are things that are happening, and that's my definition for news. News is stuff that if someone hadn't done the work and reported it, we never would have found out. We never would have found out about this Kawhi Leonard thing if it weren't for Pablo Torre. We were always going to find out that Luka Doncic was a Laker because the first time you turn on a Laker game and Luka Doncic is there, it's like, oh, when did that happen? Like, that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who broke that story.
Yeah.
You were going to know either way.
Okay, we're going to switch gears. Who was an NBA player that you met that was different than what you expected?
Oh. Ooh. Shaq.
Why?
I think because Shaq is not like how he is on TV.
He doesn't talk like this.
He does talk like this.
Oh, darn, okay.
He talks a lot less, first of all.
Amin, how are you doing?
No, it's like a lot of head nods. So I worked for the Phoenix Suns and we traded for Shaq. And I think the first 2 weeks, he maybe said like 5 total words to me. I think one of the things, like, so for example, I was walking through the locker room and he says, and I look and he goes like this. He beckons me with his finger, and so I walk over and say, "What's up, big fella?" And he points to his mouth and he goes, and I'm like, "You want gum?" It's like, and he not like this is exactly how he's communicating. So I went and I got him some gum, and he says he wanted like Big Red. So
he's
I went.
A big red guy.
He's a big red guy. So we go watch this. So every sports team has this massive basket of every mint and gum and candy because the guys are all neurotic and they need to chew something or whatever. So I go to the basket. I'm like, I know we got some cinnamon gum here. We had cinnamon orbits. So I bring him the cinnamon orbits, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" I said, "You wanted cinnamon gum?" He's like, "I said Big Red. I need Big Red." And I'm like, "Well, this is what we got." He's like, I don't know if I can play without the Big Red. So I said, "All right, start with this. I will leave the arena, go get Big Red, and come back." And by the time, because it's arena traffic and stuff.
Yeah, it was like game day?
It's a game day.
There's
like
no way you're getting out of there.
And I had to have like a little bit of a police escort just to get me out of the arena. But then I'm stuck in traffic. By the time I get back, the game has already started. He has a great game. The next game day, I show up and I'm like, "All right, I got your Big Red." He's like, No. Bring me the orbits. And to this day, because I told the story, it's like, yeah, he loves Orbit's gum. I'm like, to this day, he's still Orbit cinnamon gum is his thing.
That's news right there.
But but Shaq is like I say, he's a lot smarter than I think he likes to portray that he's like this big, loud, ignorant guy. But he's like really smart. He's really into tech and gadgets. He's got a great curiosity.
Guy.
But it's like a curiosity. So he used to go to Walmart every night. All right, so I'll take the story back. He would walk in with stuff, just stuff. I'm like, "What's this?" So remember those flip cameras? It was like a digital video camera, and it had like a USB stick that came on the side, and then you could just plug it in directly, the camera, to the side of your laptop and download the videos, right? That was new technology at the time because everyone else, you had to have a wire or whatever. Like this
like
one.
a Zune or whatever.
No, yeah, well, it was a camera. It was
okay.
like, so I'd never seen this thing before, and Shaq has it. I'm like, "Wow, that's so cool. It's so convenient." I'm like, "How much does it cost?" I'm thinking he's going to say like something like $4,000 because it's new tech that Shaq has. He's Shaq. And he said, $99. I'm like, $99? Where'd you get it from? Walmart. Like, Walmart? What are you doing at Walmart? He's like, "I go to Walmart every night." And it's true. He would go to Walmart. There was a 24-hour Walmart not far from our arena. He would go at like 2 in the morning and just roam and buy stuff, and then come back and like test it out at practice the next day. So he would bring in these things, and I'm like, how did you get this from Walmart? Like, yeah, like how much it cost, da, da, da. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool thing. So one day he comes in with one of those inventory SKU scanners. You know, like the people who work at Walmart, Target, whatever, they've got this like a, yeah, it's like a thing, and like it shoots a laser at the barcode, and they could tell you, oh yeah, we have 3 in stock in the back, whatever, right? He brings in one of those, like as is, not like in the packaging, whatever. I said, where'd you get this from? Guy that worked at Walmart sold it to me. I'm like, okay. I'm like, why would you want an inventory scanner? He said, because there's a way to unlock this, and if you do, it's a GSM phone. It doubles as a GSM phone, like a satellite phone, the kind of phones you can use anywhere with no towers on it. So if you're stuck in the middle of the desert, you can use this. So I said, all right, how does that work? It's like, I need to get the manual so I can figure it out. And he looks at me. I'm like, you want me to download the manual? Yes. So I find the manual, and I say, man, before I print this out, this is 500 pages. Like, if you want, I'll print it out for you. I'm not going to go through 500 pages for you. He's like, no, just print it out. Cool. So he goes down to practice. I print out this manual. I had to reload the printer a couple of times, right? It's this thick, right? He comes back from practice. I swear to God, Serena, he sits down on the floor of the video room with this stack of papers. Don't need this, don't need this. He went through the entire manual, extracted the 20 pages that were relevant. He said, you can throw the rest away. Right? Like that's Shaq. That's Shaq. The last thing I'll say is, from a basketball standpoint, people say, because when you watch Shaq, what is he always saying? Oh, people shooting too many threes. The big man needs to dunk, da, da, da. I'll never forget Super Bowl weekend in Phoenix. It was the 2014-2015 season. The Warriors still haven't won a championship yet, right? I walk into a bar. I see Shaq. Hey, big fella, how's it going? Da, 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 like exchange pleasantries. So he says, who do you think is going to win it all this year? And I said, who do you think is going to win it? And he said, nobody's beating them boys in Golden State. Nobody. And I'm like, you're the one who's always saying that they shoot too many threes and all that. It's like, no one's beating them. That's the way the game is played, and that's the way the game is won now. It's like the game has changed. So I'm like, what? And as he's saying this, he pulls out his phone and he shows me video of, at that time, his son Sharif was probably 13, 14, maybe 15 years old. Sharif is tall, like his dad. Yeah. He's skinny, though. Like, he's a slender guy, but he's like 6'9" at the time, right? And he shows me, and he's like, it's video Sharif, and everything is perimeter-based. Everything is shooting threes. Everything is playing the modern way. And he's like, I told him, get out of the paint. You got to be able, I'm teaching him to play like that. And I'm like, this is Shaq, who, when he gets on TV,
right?
Well, you got to get inside, and you got to give me like 35 and 15 and stop playing soft and da-da-da.
Yeah.
And they shoot too many threes. You're not going to win that way. You win with the... But in real life, he understood it. And he was the first person I knew who did not work in Golden State who said they're going to win the championship.
Wow.
He saw it coming. He knew it coming. But most people would say Shaq probably doesn't think that's real basketball or something like that.
I can't get out of my head Shaq roaming the aisles of Walmart while, like, after, just every night, like, hey, what's up, Bob?
You know
what's going on, Ann? How are you doing today?
You know what kind of car he drove?
But like a Toyota or something. I don't know.
No one's ever gonna believe it. So he had a bunch of cars, obviously.
Okay.
He had a Lamborghini, and he had a big rig truck. I think that one was real famous. But his main, like, this is his main car, a Chevy Astro van. Now, it was fitted and kitted, right? It had a Superman grill and all that stuff. It was nice rims.
Yeah.
It was but it was a Chevy Astro van.
What does that look like? Just for those.
You don't know what a Chevy Astro van looks like?
Is it with the outside, the back open?
It's like I'll look it up. I'll pull it up right now because I can't.
We'll put up a picture of it because I'm like, some people may not know.
I guess they don't make it anymore, huh?
Shaq bought the last one at Walmart.
See the Superman grill.
That is hilarious. That was his everyday car.
Yeah, this is his everyday car.
Best NBA jersey design.
Best design. I guess we're saying, like, what's my favorite jersey?
Sure. It doesn't have to be your favorite. Like,
I think. Oh, you know what? Like, all right, here's what. Memphis has some cool versions.
Okay.
There's the ones where like the numbers are like lines, like 3 lines.
Mhm.
So I really like those Memphis ones. It's like a dark blue and then a powder blue trim.
I like that.
Those are nice. Miami and San Antonio, obviously, those are timeless.
Yeah,
Like
classic.
they don't have to change much. They always look cool. The Miami Vice jersey line
Those are fun.
with the
Pink.
fluorescent colors and the spray paint.
Mhm.
I shouldn't say Miami Vice. It's the Miami Heat Vice edition
Yes.
because obviously there's legal
Sure.
copyrights there. And then I've always loved from a throwback the old Phoenix Suns jerseys with the sunburst,
Yeah.
like the ones that Charles Barkley and Kevin Johnson, those guys wore. I always thought that was the coolest, most unique looking jerseys because most jerseys are just like, what font do you want? What colors are we going to be in? It's just like team name, number, and that's fine. And
Okay.
and I thought that was unique and different
Okay.
in a way that was cool.
Like that. Who's the most meme worthy player in the NBA? Past, present, future.
Past, I would say Shaq probably. He's got so many funny quotes
Yeah.
and funny faces, and he's so silly, and so he plays
still
into that
is,
role.
yeah.
Yeah. So he would be past player, most memeable. Present, Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler has a lot. Like I don't think people realize Jimmy Butler has
His
so many
photo
memes.
days.
So the photo days
Alone.
alone, but also he has so many like famous memes that people don't even know who it is. I'm on this Reddit board where it's like explain the joke. Because sometimes there's all these inside references to things. I'm like, I don't get it. And it's like, oh, well, actually, in season whatever, this person says this, and that's why. I'm like, oh, that's why. So, but one of them was the Jimmy Butler staring at a stat sheet, like squinting. And the person was like, who is this person and why are they squinting? Are they in court? They thought it was a lawyer. And that's explaining, no, it's a basketball
Jimmy
player.
Butler.
And he's looking at a stat sheet. So Jimmy Butler would be my present. And future, I think Anthony Edwards definitely has.
Okay.
He's got the
yeah.
runway of like, yeah, this guy's gonna be quite the character.
Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's putting his moments in. In the hobby? There's all sorts of sets, but cards that I really enjoy where they capture a moment, right? Like
Mhm.
that infamous Jordan
Mhm.
dunk. The Kobe
Yeah.
Achilles day, like
Uh-huh.
all these games. What would be if you had to be able to make a card? Like a collectible moment that
Uh-huh.
you'd love to see on a card may exist. I know you don't come from the hobby, but
Right.
just want to get your thought.
I would say Steph Curry 3-pointer in the Olympics over Victor Wembanyama. It's
That-
such an insane photo because you see in this one snapshot the size difference. That Victor Wembanyama is like, oh, how does anyone ever get a shot off over him? And to see Steph and the ball is so high in the air, like that one is like
I love that.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then another one because I don't want Kawhi Leonard to think I always say mean things or whatever about him. Kawhi Leonard hitting the shot against Philadelphia the year they won the championship in Toronto because there's a picture. I remember the year it happened. We had a live show for Count the Dings, my podcast company. And in the show, we broke down the photo. And it was hanging in the Louvre, seriously. Because the ball is in the air, and you see everyone in the picture, every player. He's right in front of the Raptors bench, the fans in the crowd, everyone's eyes are up. Kawhi is in the corner, squatting, right? He's literally in a squat because he's like just kind of body English. And Joel Embiid is staring at the ball, and you can see in his eyes like, oh, crap, I think this is going to go in. And it's a beautiful picture, and there's just every face tells a story in that photo.
Yeah.
It's such an iconic moment.
This is a funny question for you, and not many people know this. Well, maybe they do. You love the show Bar Rescue.
Oh, my gosh. Love it so much. I started a podcast about it.
Obsessed. Yes.
Yeah.
So, to wrap things up, which team needs...
John Tapper to come in. That's it. I'm going in.
Yes.
You're going to kill somebody. The Sacramento Kings.
Ah!
The Sacramento Kings. Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh,
They're
man.
just, they like, he's going to go there and meet with Vivek Ranadive,
Yes.
the owner, and he's just going to be like, how much in debt are you?
Yeah, and then just destroy it, break
You
it all
got to
down.
have systems.
Yes. The
You're
first
not
thing.
putting your people in a situation to be You're not putting your people in a situation to be successful.
Kings, you should be on the first episode.
Here's the Science, a Bar Rescue podcast is the name of the podcast.
It's great. Yes, you're obsessed with that.
Yeah.
Every time I sit with you and Zach Harper, you talk through and quote Bar Rescue, and I have no idea what they're talking about because I'm not.
This is how much I watch Bar Rescue. I was in a Admiral's Club, airport lounge, and I'm sitting at the bar, and some other guy orders a beer, and the bartender pours the beer, and it's got a lot of foam, so he's got to spill it out and hands the guy the beer. Guy walks away and says, "That beer's not at the right temperature." Right? When you see a lot of foam, that means like it's above like 47 degrees. The optimal temperature is like under 40, between like 37 and 40 degrees. And he says, yeah, it's because the kegs are like in a room over and the line isn't insulated. And so we're having problems. I said, you're losing about 25 to 30% profit every time you spill that beer and all that foam. And like, I think he thought I worked in the restaurant industry, service industry.
Is that why you watch Bar Rescue?
I've never, not once. I've never worked in restaurant or bar.
So wild. We went to a Bar Rescue. A rescued bar. Just my gosh.
My dream now is to open a bar.
Because you feel like
I feel like I won't make the mistakes everybody else did. Yeah, I'll use the science. I'll have systems.
We'll have systems,
and that'll make me a lot of money.
That's what he says.
That's how you make a lot of money, and then I'll be brought to you by Esri.
Thank you for hanging out. I know you came and visited Rochester. Wanted to get your overall thoughts on cards. You ripped a few packs.
So as I told multiple people, I'm as outsider as it gets. I don't know anything about cards. When I was a kid, I would collect cards, but not like collect cards. I had a couple, but not a big deal. My cousin, he had like the binder with like row after row of cards and stuff. And then, you get older and like you kind of get out of it. I remember when I worked for the Hawks, I had a buddy of mine who would give me cards to get signed. And so I would because I'd be on the loading dock as the guys would get on, hey, could you sign this, whatever. I was young looking, so I kind of looked like a kid, so they would do it. And I remember he gave me a card. It was a Stockton and Malone card. And I got it signed by both Stockton and Malone. But Karl Malone asked me what my name was, and so he said, to Amin, like, da-da-da. And so my buddy was like, well, this is worthless now because he put a name on it. And so he said, it's yours. And so I have that card.
Card.
So, but other than that, like, I don't know anything. So I came here. I learned so much. I learned the terminology. I learned kind of like I learned how to open a pack, which sounds silly, but like there's a way to do it. I learned how to
sleeve and top load.
Yeah, sleeve and top load, which again, back in the day, we just threw them in like in a 3-ring binder. Now there's all sorts of fancy things. And, I'm still learning, but it's cool. It's a cool world that has kind of like existed by itself. Yeah. And now I feel like those doors are opening, and now the rest of us are coming over and seeing what's up. I learned that there's Star Wars cards. I got very excited about that.
And what's good is the hobby never sleeps. So it'll always be awake for you when you are ready to consume.
You'll catch me in one of those shops.
It's be Walmart all day long. All right, thank you. Thanks a lot for hanging.
No, thanks for having me.